Hey there, everybody. Thank you for hopping on and joining us today for Couch Conversations with Coach Wendie. And I am here today with my very special guest, Dave Ferguson. Dave is the Leaders Coach. He is also #1 best-selling author, Boss or Leader. And Dave is here today. We're going to chat just a little bit about, leading through crisis, leading through, I guess, uncertain times, the times that we're in. Dave's going to share a little bit of his insight and wisdom. And Dave, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself, and then we can kind of jump right into, hearing a little bit about, as a leader, how do you utilize these times, these opportunities for growth, for change, and all that good stuff?
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well at these times. So I'm Dave Ferguson. I am the Leaders Coach. My company's called Living to Lead. You can find me at livingtolead.com, livingtolead.com. People call me Coach Dave. I've been doing this quite a while. I just got off an amazing call, so I'm like pumped up. It was a forum that we were supposed to do live at Virginia Beach on the old naval ship, the Wisconsin, but we had to go to virtual this week, so it's been interesting. We listened to an amazing speaker today, Carrie Lorenz. She's actually the first female F-14 fighter pilot. She's retired now, but just great, got some great stuff from it. So, leaders are learners. So what are we learning these days, right?
Yes.
If you're open and you're open-minded and you're having faith and not fear as much as some are right now, you're open to learning. And so I took away
That's a lot of notes.
Tons of notes, but here it is. Let's turn this to coaching, because what I was able to do, and I try to do this by design, as I listen to other people. They don't have to be speakers. Even just listening to you. For me, I say, how do I create questions that are going to help others from my conversation, or from me listening to, today was Carrie Lorenz. Okay? I talked to her a little bit, and I just said, she gave me so many questions in her content that I can now ask people. Like, I'm just like totally excited. It was so worth my time. It was tremendous value. And really, as leaders, that's what we have to do, right? Like, we should be helping, we should create value, right? And transfer that value to other people. And me, I do that through questions more than, although I like to talk and I like to speak and I like to direct, I also like to ask questions, because that's where I feel like our value as coaches really kicks in. It's not always about the content we deliver and the solutions we can deliver. It's about getting people to think.
Yes.
And the right questions do that. So she just gave me, I want to give kudos to her. It's Carrie Lorenz, and she was just awesome.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. And I love that. And I love that, like you said, when you're listening to different people, whether it's a conversation, whether you're at an event, is listening to the information and formulating the questions. That is amazing, Dave. I love
it. Really is. Well, it's like time of crisis right now. She said something, obviously I wasn't going to talk about this, but it's just too good not to share, right?
Right.
She said something about landing in an F-14 on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea at nighttime.
Wow.
All you see is darkness.
Yeah.
And at times, this is what really got me, and this is what I'm going to use going forward to help people, is at times the back of the aircraft carrier can be 35 to 40 feet higher than the front.
Wow.
And you're trying to land an F-14 at, I don't even know how fast it's going, but on the back of it.
Wow.
And so my question for you, for the audience, right, is that, what's your night landing right now? In your business and life? Like, what looks like a night landing to you right now?
Right.
Where are you in the dark? What are the moving objects, right? What are those for us? We all have them.
Oh, absolutely.
If you are not willing to go there, and if I'm as a leader and a coach not willing to take you there in your mind, then I'm not providing a service. But to yourself, you're not leading yourself well if you're not ready, if you're not willing to go there. So figure out what's your night landing right now in your business and your life. Let's not forget the life part.
That's
Right?
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
Especially in these times, because so many are there right now.
yeah, it really, yep. And so, swap out the fear for faith and then figure out, figure out what's your night landing. And then the other thing that came out, and this is something I've been asking people, but she said it in a different way, is what's the one thing you need to do right now in your business and your life? Maybe there's one for each that you're the most scared of doing. Right? Own it, face it, and do it.
Wow. Yeah.
You have to be willing to take the risk. Yep. Obviously, I'm not saying risk your life, but you have to be willing to take the risk. And we may fail, because I'm doing it too. We might fail.
Right.
But in the failure is going to be a lesson.
Is when we're going to grow.
In the success, the win's going to be a lesson too, but the failure can be a lesson only if you're willing to evaluate it. If you're not willing to evaluate, if you want to blame it on the crisis or other people or an employee or that's
an external factor. Yeah.
Right. That's a cop-out, right? Go in and evaluate. If you do fail at taking this shot in the dark, this landing, right? This night landing, just evaluate the experience, and should be a tremendous amount of wisdom in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, isn't that why people hire gray-haired coaches like me?
Yeah, mine are starting to show too.
Well, mine are always showing these days. But,
literally, true colors are coming out, right?
I'm just glad to have a good head of hair. So
yeah, there you go. There you go.
At this point, so
yeah. No, I see why you're so pumped up from that, because that's some amazing. Just those two questions right there that you posed are very appropriate for the time. But they're also, people don't go there. People don't like going there. And there's a lot of times, a lot of resistance. And I keep telling everybody, this is the time, crisis, trauma, any of that, those are opportune times for growth.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, first look, so let's talk a little bit about leadership, right? And, we have to lead ourselves well first. Okay. Yeah. So in the time of crisis, it's interesting, in the last 6 weeks, I have led myself differently. And it feels so good. I am in this great place right now. And I can't tell you why, other than I've used this crisis as a challenge to me. It's okay, you know what, Dave? It's challenging you, so go for it. Right? Don't ignore it. Don't fear it. Just go for it. Right. And it energized me, and I needed it. I had, I got a little, fat and happy, right?
Right. And you were complacent. You weren't where you were.
Maybe not that term, but you're close to it. I had slowed down, right? And life was good, and it is good. But this has re-energized me because it's given me this challenge, which I like challenges, right? So I use the term crisis only because that's what everybody else is using. This is a challenging time. For everyone. This has touched everyone. This is one thing. The 08, 09 crisis didn't touch everyone. 9/11, it touched me, but it didn't, obviously, it didn't touch me like it touched a lot of people.
Right.
This is touching everything. This is a different crisis. This is not a crisis you could really prepare for.
No.
But here's what you can do now. You can start preparing to get back to business. You can start, and if you're still doing business, that's great. But you can start planning differently.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying plan for the next crisis, but you can plan differently. And you have to lead that yourself if you want other people to follow you. And you have to lead it healthy yourself. So you've got to be that healthy version of a leader that people do want to follow.
Absolutely. I mean, you just nailed it right there. And you've been a coach for what?
13 years now.
13 years now. Yeah. And to hear you say, how affirming for people to hear you say, you've been doing this for 13 years. You've done the deep work. You've, gotten yourself here through trial, through all of it. And to hear you say, you know what, I even had to sit down and kind of dig deep and reevaluate a little bit now, because we all do.
Yep. And I have 2 coaches. I pay 2 coaches. I have a man and a woman. and they're completely different. They challenge me in different ways, but I've gone to them with this new energy, and they're both like, wow, like this is powerful.
Yeah.
You know, and it's helping me help people, which is what I love to do,
Right.
which is why I was created. Okay, and that is my purpose, to help other people. And you can't help other people if you're not doing the things yourself. And I see a lot of people in our space, Wendie,
Yeah.
that I'm really upset with right now, because they're not making our space look so good and healthy, right? I think the purpose right now is a little different, and it, you know, crisis really reveals people.
Oh yeah.
Okay, crisis really reveals people. They say, like, you know, like, I'll joke, but you know, if you want to really meet someone, divorce them, right?
Yeah.
But crisis reveals the real people.
It does. Yep.
And you know what's funny? This is really me, and I'm glad it's come out. Right?
I love this. I love your energy right now.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And of course, people like, I'm spending more time with people like Carrie Lorenz right now. Okay, and we're doing it this way instead of face to face. You know, you know me. I love the face to face.
Right.
I do a lot of phone coaching. It's not my preferred type of coaching. I like to be in front of audiences. I like to eye to eye. I like to touch my audience. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've had to adapt. And what I'm finding through me adapting is it's creating a change in me. Like, I actually like this. I never liked doing video. Yeah. I don't have much video out there. People always ask me, my God, you need more video. I don't like doing video. But guess what? I'm starting to enjoy it now, and it's giving me different energy. So the lesson here is not my lesson. What's your lesson? So what's your lesson? Like, what are you learning through this?
Right.
Like, you can either seek to get really good positive energy from this challenge, or you can go, oh God, this challenge, it's a crisis, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. You know, so, you know, go positive on this. Go positive on this, because we're going to come out of this.
Oh, we are.
And you're either going to come out of this healthier or unhealthier.
Right.
It's your choice. It's not the economy's choice. It's not the media's choice. It's not the president's choice. It's not my choice. It's your choice. And if you want to call yourself a leader, you gotta be that leader for other people, because God knows we need more leaders.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is a time. What we're, I guess, going through right now. It's psychological. It's economical. It's spiritual. It hits
the whole wheel.
Every aspect of who we are.
The whole wheel of life.
The whole wheel. Yep. And I remember doing that wheel with you.
The whole wheel of life. And I love the wheel. It works. It works if you work it.
It absolutely, it does. It absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I know just the growth that can come from the transitions, from all this, but like you said, Dave, it's a choice. And that's what I work with my clients all the time. This is your choice. You know, you have a choice to stay stuck in the past or to blame all the external forces around you. But, you know, here's opportunity for real growth, personally and professionally.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. Like, look, you could believe China created this. You know, we could believe one political party created it, because, you know, we can believe all of those things. Whatever you want to believe. Your belief to your belief. I don't really care what your beliefs are. Okay? I'll listen to your perspective.
Right.
Because I believe we have to be open to other people's perspectives, but I don't have to make your perspective solid in my life.
Absolutely.
Just like I don't really make my perspective solid. If I make my perspective solid, how can I coach and be open to other people?
Right. How are you going to evolve? And yeah.
You can hold a lot of, people don't understand this, that you can actually hold a lot of perspectives, but not make any of them completely solid.
Right.
There's comfort in for some people of holding their perspective solid, but it's not healthy.
No, because we should always be growing and evolving and like you said, listening to other people.
Look, I just turned 58. I've learned this last year, honestly, maybe the year I've learned the most in my life. And that's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because I've been through a lot of stuff, right? Like most people. By the time you get to 58, you've been through some crap.
Yep.
You've been through some good stuff. You've been through some bad stuff. And I will tell you, this last year, I have learned more than I really believe I've learned in my entire lifetime.
That's amazing.
And it's in some way changed me a bit. Mostly for the better, I hope.
Well, we always hope that it's always
Like,
a better
like
change, right?
we always talk, because you and I did the Wheel of Life together when I was helping you make the transition from one business to another. And I love to talk about the wheel. And I've always had a couple spokes on my wheel that I struggled with.
Right.
I have 8 spokes on my wheel. And I will tell you now, like in the last maybe 90 days, because of the work I've done on Dave Ferguson and with my coaches the last year,
Mm-hmm.
my wheel has never been healthier.
Solid, huh?
And we're in a crisis, right? Like, who
Yeah.
says that?
I know. How can you?
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't prepare for it. I just did the work. And this is why coaching,
That's the key. Yeah.
and I'm not here to sell coaching to people. I love my clients. I'll take more if they want to, if people are willing to commit to it and they're coachable. But this is the power of coaching,
Yeah.
right? My transition in the last year is not, yeah, I did I did work. I worked. Okay, I did a lot of work. I created new habits, got rid of old habits, and my coaches supported me.
Yeah.
Okay, and provided me some GPS at times.
Right.
Okay, but the power of coaching, you're seeing it right now with me, because not only am I a coach, I'm coachable, and I've gone through it with the help of professional people, professional coaches, and not 19 and 20-year-old coaches. Okay,
Right.
Seasoned coaches.
Yeah.
One's a couple years older than me,
Mm-hmm.
and one is several years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Not by more than 10, but
Yeah.
and one has a lot of hair and one doesn't have hair. But and let's just say the female coach is not bald. Okay?
Well, I figured that.
But they challenge me in different ways, and that's why it's so important for us to have mentors.
Yes.
You know several of my mentors, because we've had the conversation about them.
Yeah.
It's important to have members, but it's important to have a coach in your life.
Absolutely. We all need them.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, different aspects as well. And sometimes it's multiple coaches or mentors, or whatever that is, whatever that need is. And the opportunity and the transition, and to always be transforming your life, to be elevating your life. In what you're talking about, Dave, is prime example of that. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter how much work you've already done. There's always more to do.
Oh God, yeah. Like I have people say to me all the time, like, "Why are you like?" I was literally. This talk about real world. So I was on a Zoom last night. I started organizing these Zooms for my college suite. Okay.
Nice.
And so we had 8 of us on last night, and they're kind of a happy hour. Everybody's sipping on a drink, and we're all kind of in similar spots. And like, one of the guys just retired like 6 months ago, and he's pretty much living at his house up on a lake. Not Lake Norman, but another lake. It's much colder. It's beautiful. I've been there. I'm planning to go pretty soon again to visit them. Nice. But everybody's in a little bit of a different spot, right? But everybody is thinking about retirement. And so the question came up last night, like, Dave, like, you've done this, you've done that, like, you've been pretty successful. Like, when are you going to do it? I'm like, never. I go, what do you mean? I go, I don't even feel like I go to work.
Right.
I go, what am I going to do? I mean, I love to play golf. I love to ride my bike. I love the beach. I'm out there every day, but that's 2 hours. Yeah. I got 22 other hours, man, that I want to share. I want to help. I want to provide wisdom. I love doing that, and it doesn't mean I have to do it more than 20 hours a week, but I'm not ready for that retirement. And I just don't think I'll ever retire. And that's one of the things this industry does allow us to do, right? Is kind of work when we want to work or when people need us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
go ahead. One thing I tell my clients when I either finish the meeting with them, or I get off the phone with them, or I get off a Zoom with them, is like, look, I know we have our next call scheduled out, but don't ever hesitate to text me and say, hey, you got 5 minutes today? I got something I want to talk about. And I love when they do that.
Yeah.
Right? I love when they do that. I want to be that person for them.
Right.
Because everybody needs that person.
In the moment. Yeah. Sometimes we need that in that moment right then. Yeah.
And you may be, I'll talk to the audience now, not you, because you've invested in coaches. You invested in me several years ago. Mm-hmm. And I've watched you grow, and it's been great to watch. It's always great to watch people you've worked with grow. And it fulfills you. It says, yeah, I'm doing the right thing, right?
Absolutely.
But for those of you that have thought about having a coach before and you've just said, well, I don't know if I want to be challenged that way, or I can't afford it. Okay. What I normally say to people when they say that to me is maybe we need to start with looking at your budget and seeing where you're putting your money. Because that's, where you write your checks is what, is really
your priority.
Is your priority, is it supporting your purpose? So, it's we're blessed at what we get to do, and so I just like to share those blessings. So yeah, I'm a little excited today. So I will never apologize, but I could.
No.
I'm sure you're probably like shocked by my energy right now. So.
And I love it. And you know what I really like? What ran through my mind when you're talking about the videos and the Zooms and this, and like you didn't used to like it, but I'm starting to really like is you can actually, if you again, this goes to where you're at, I guess, and being open. I can feel that energy. We're not sitting in the same room, but that energy is coming through.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, leaders, one of the biggest things I've learned on my leadership journey, and in the last 13 years in this coaching industry, is that the one piece that leaders and even a lot of coaches are missing is the humility piece. Okay? And people see that a mile away when you don't have it, but they also see it a mile away when you share it. Absolutely. And when they see it in you,
right,
is the humility piece, right?
Yeah.
And I think that for me has been a piece of my transition, and I'm humbly admitting that. So I hope it comes across that way.
It does, and I know you, so I know that is humble.
No, it is.
And it is. It's humble. It's people want that. They want that in leaders, coaches, mentors, whatever that is. You need to be humble, but you need to be authentic and pick up on it when you're not.
I think in me, and this is there's no blame in this, but if anybody was to blame it, it's my blame. So don't anybody take this personally. Is that through the years, people have thought that I was ego driven. Right? And conceited. But what they miss is that I'm not conceited, I'm convinced. And there's a difference. See, I have a conviction that God has given me the gifts to help other people.
Right.
Sometimes people see that as conceit because of my energy level around it. Right? So I say to people, I'm not conceited, I'm convinced. And there is a difference. Conviction should not look like someone that's conceited. It is, I'm convicted. And don't people want to follow a convicted leader? Right? Someone with a lot of conviction?
Yeah.
So if I'm convicted of anything, I'm convicted of allowing it to show up as ego. Right? But, I always ask people, so, what are you convicted to? Like, what's your conviction? Right? Like right now in this crisis, in this challenge.
Right.
If you don't have conviction to your mission or to your passion or to your purpose, you're going to suffer.
You're going to be lost.
You're going to be suffering. You're going to be in pain, and you're going to fall behind.
Yep.
And so just be willing to visit that within yourself, or have a coach or someone pull it out of you. Okay. And help you see what it is.
Yeah.
Because this is also a great time to make some changes.
Absolutely. It is.
Those ones you always wanted to do that you put on the back burner, like this is the time. You have time now to bring them to the front burner. Right.
Right.
Don't be scared.
Right. And walk out of this storm with that whole brand new light. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just I don't know. I can't wait I don't know what the other end of this looks like. I'm excited about it.
And that's reassuring to hear that, because I've said that to so many people. So many people have asked me, aren't you scared? Aren't you fearful? What are you? And I said, you know what? I'm excited to see what is on the other side of this.
Yeah.
Because there's so much opportunity right now. There really is. Yep. And, and it's not to minimize that some people they're going through a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy stuff. And we're not minimizing that at all. But it's like, what a perspective of it, how are you going to take this time and make it valuable?
Yeah, and the other thing is prepare. Like, I think sometimes we're guilty of not being ready for something, right? Especially when times get good, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't have prepared for this because it's never happened before.
Right.
Okay. But there are things in history that will tell you what people's behaviors become when they're in a time of crisis.
Yep.
So regardless of what business you're in, okay, I had this conversation with one of my neighbors here in Hilton Head because he's an executive for a very large paper manufacturer.
Okay.
Okay. So right now there's a shortage of toilet paper. They make paper, and they have a plant that makes toilet paper. Okay. And they've had to ramp up. They were not really ready for this.
They weren't prepared.
Right? I still don't understand why everybody's buying a lot of toilet paper, but regardless
that blows my mind.
Somewhere out there, there's probably in the history, if this company went back and they looked in history, there's probably people's behavior at other crises drove up toilet paper sales. I'd be willing to bet if someone did that, the homework, they'll find that for some reason people go to things like toilet paper.
Came from
I don't get it.
Who knows? Yeah.
I don't get it, but then again, I'm a male and I don't use as much, right? So
yeah.
I don't have a bunch of young women and girls running around the house. So but there is ways we can prepare for the unknown. We have to prepare ourselves, right, as leaders. I'm talking as leaders right now, and if you're listening to this, you are a leader, whether you say you are or not.
Right.
Is that we have to prepare ourselves well.
Yes.
Right. So that goes to health, values, all of those things. And then we have to prepare our businesses, and the health of our business is important, right? And how we prepare ahead in our business, and contingency is important. You always have to think what could go wrong, right? Now, I'm always one of those people is to say, let's look at what could go right. That's important.
Yeah.
But you also, as a business owner, and really as the leader of a family,
you have to be smart. Yeah.
Right, as the leader of your family, you have to be prepared, and you have to prepare your family.
Right.
If you're the leader of your family,
yep,
you got to prepare for things.
Right.
Whether that's health, financial, whatever that is,
right,
spirituality, whatever that is, you have to prepare. So I hope this is not like, I hope we've all learned from this, because I feel like other crises, we really have short-term memory.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, without getting too spiritual and too much into my faith world, I feel like this is an opportunity for us to do a checkup on ourselves.
Yeah.
Do a checkup from the head up.
There we go.
The neck up, actually.
Yep. Yeah.
From the neck up. So yeah, it's a
great time to reset and get yourself back in alignment, and yeah.
So I'm assuming most of this is your audience. So what can I provide for your audience right now? Is there anything I can say or do or suggest or?
Well, I mean, I right now have a mix, but my primary, my focus with my clients is transition, and so what a great time right now for for them is seeing in where they're at, the transition phase they're at, the opportunity for growth. So for me and my clients, this is prime.
So I know you work with a lot of women.
Yes.
Okay. And so your audience doesn't know, but I was raised by women. Okay.
Yeah.
My grandmother and my mother, two both amazing leaders. I didn't know it back then, but as soon as I got into the leadership world, I realized it. Okay. Yeah. They're both gone. They've both been gone a while, but I honor them in what I do. And I also have 4 sisters, okay? So I, for the most part, get women, okay? And love women. And so literally I've had just listened to 2 leaders in the last 2 days, both females, and amazing leaders, and amazing content, and amazing conversation. So ladies, I would say to you that I totally respect what you have to do for a living, and also what you have to do for life. I feel like women take on a lot of the leadership, even at home.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of women are single mothers, and that takes a whole other thing, but you have the opportunity to grow as leaders, right? I love working with female leaders because I know that very well. I've seen it in my life, and I know they have things, for the most part, I'm generalizing here, so don't send me any ugly emails. But I'm generalizing. And guys hate when I say this, but I just feel like at home, women take on a lot of the leadership at the home. And I think we've let that slip a little bit. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think I'd like to see a better balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's tough. For leadership is not easy.
No.
Okay. Now you know me. I say it's easier than bossship.
Yes.
SHIP.
Yes.
Right. It is easier than bossship, but it is challenging. So just embrace it. Right. Like embrace it. Embrace the you asked to talk about transition.
Like that. Yeah.
We're always supposed to be transitioning.
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're open to learning and growing, then you should always be transitioning. So I said, yeah, I've transitioned a lot over the years, and this last year it's been another chapter. But you know what? There's another chapter coming.
Yeah.
I will keep this transition going, right? My question to the audience is, will you start yours and keep yours going?
I like that. And that's a great way for us to kind of wrap it up
Awesome.
today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming and joining me on this. And I know you don't do this a lot for a lot of people, so I really feel honored that you're doing this. And you helped me do this transition. You were the first one, so
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, and I
enjoyed our work together.
Yeah. So and just being that example of a leader for people. And you're right, we need to always keep growing and elevating ourselves and our life, not just our businesses, but us personally.
Yeah, because your number one job as a leader is helping other people do that.
Yep.
Right? That's your number one job, is developing more leaders.
Yes.
And leadership, as I say, are you leading for a living, or are you living to lead? Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you live to lead, you got to own it.
Yeah.
And your job is to develop more leaders.
Absolutely.
Is there a better job out there? Like, no. I can't think of a better job.
I can't either, but I guess we're called to do this. So.
No, I don't mean being a coach. I mean, if you live to lead as a person, I don't care what you do for a living.
Right.
But if people see you as a leader in everything you do, is there anything better than that?
No.
I don't think so.
No. And being a leader of your own life, like you said earlier, I love that as well.
If your kids see you as a leader,
yeah.
If people in the community see you as a leader, if the people you work with see you as a leader, right? I mean, what's better than that?
Right.
I'll challenge you. If anybody knows, email me.
There you go. Put it in the comments when I'm going to post this video. So awesome. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you
Thanks
all
for having me.
Thank you all for hopping on and watching us. And we will see you on the next tomorrow. Actually, I'll be back on tomorrow evening. So
awesome.
See y'all tomorrow. Take care.
Live to lead, everybody. Live to lead.